barnstorming, I've been reminded that just about the only moment of any presidential campaign that I really like is when someone asks the candidates to identify their favorite book. Although this might once have been a sort of spontaneous, frivolous-seeming question, but we now understand that campaign staffs actually anticipated and prepare for it a lot. So we don't actually hear what the candidate's favorite book is. We're given the title of a book that his staff, or her staff, thinks says something positive about them. Still, I get very excited to hear the answers. In the last election, Obama chose Song of Solomon, which is a fairly safe pick. No one's really going to gang up on that one. Mitt Romney, however, named Battlefield Earth by L. Ron Hubbard as his favorite, which is such a strange choice from both a political and aesthetic standpoint that he actually may have been telling the truth. In any case, I'm sure his staff is working very hard to make sure he answers differently next time. Hillary Clinton chose Little Woman, which was another pretty safe pick. And I don't know if John Edwards made it far enough in the campaign to be asked, but if he wanted to make a cheap joke, you might guess it was Lady Shadow's Lover. John McCain's answer is the one I want to talk about. It was the one that raised the stakes a little bit. He not only said that his favorite book was For Whom the Bell Tolls, he said that it was a book that had changed his life. And that familiar phrase, the book that changed my life, it comes with a provocative assumption. This assumption, this idea that a single book can change your life. When I was younger, I took that implication to be something like a promise. I thought the books were supposed to change your life, that was one of their main functions. And because I read a lot, I had faith it would happen to me someday, that a book would come along and turn me into a completely different guy. In fact, I kind of willed it to happen on a few occasions. I would tell myself that Breakfast of Champions or Siddhartha or something had changed my life, but after a couple of weeks I had to admit that it didn't take. So gradually I stopped expecting books to affect me in that way. But it wasn't that I became disillusioned with reading. It really was just the opposite. I read many books that truly astonished me, and the books that I've come back to over and over again, the ones that give me that strange, complex happiness that really only reading can provide. I liked those books so much that the fact that they didn't really change my life just didn't matter. So in a way, my relationship with books became similar to the ones I now have with my dogs, Gordy and Mitch. I love them, I appreciate them, I spend a lot of time with them. But if I expect them to do something specific that will benefit me in tangible ways, I'm probably going to be disappointed. That's not to say that reading can't be functional. I know that many people have had their lives changed by individual books. And we also don't just ask books to do grandiose things like that. They serve other functions as well. We actually have evidence, that reading provides tangible benefits, which comes out whenever the National Endowment for the Arts conducts these surveys about reading habits. The last one found that people who read literature on a regular basis are more likely to vote in elections, to consider themselves financially comfortable, to partake in outdoor activities. They're more likely not just to attend sporting events, but actually to participate in sports and in general exercise. They're also more likely to volunteer or do charity work. So I don't know if the frequent readers in my life always strike me as being super athletic and wealthy and outdoorsy, but the numbers don't lie. Reading is correlated with these positive traits. Surveys like this certainly can be helpful if you're someone who likes to read, or certainly if you're someone who works in a reading-related field, because you're often asked to justify reading. Sometimes you seek to justify it to yourself. And maybe an American thing having to do with our Puritan ethic. When you read, it doesn't look like you're doing much. You're sitting on the couch. And so we seek to find rationalization for such seemingly idle behavior. And certainly the economy has encouraged people to be a little more results-oriented lately, especially in education. I often have to explain to parents why I encourage their daughter to switch majors from mechanical engineering to poetry, and they want specifics. Often they want an apology, and sometimes a full refund. Administrators as well are more prone these days to ask teachers and departments what tangible, specific skills they offer to students, meaning how will the things we're teaching help them find jobs. And as I said, we can make these arguments. I certainly do. I can explain to parents and would-be English majors that reading comprehension is one of the primary skills valued by employers, or even that it's just an important part of the law school exam or something. I can show the administration that English classes provide skill sets that are perfectly suited for the new global economy or the new digital economy or whatever. I can say to my wife, you know, honey, it may look like I've been sitting on the couch for 4 hours, but really I'm becoming the kind of person who's more likely to go to the gym someday. I believe in these arguments, except for that last one, yes. Reading does do things for us in a functional sense. It has functional purposes. And these purposes are important to talk about so that we can encourage more people to read as individuals, and so that Kansas's decision to eliminate the Arts Council doesn't start sounding like a good idea to other states, and in general so that our society doesn't give up on literature. I suspect that if we ever do stop reading, we will learn to our dismay about many, many other things that books did for us that we weren't even aware of. But when I make the functional argument, I sometimes feel a little like the astronomer in that Walt Whitman poem, who stands in the lecture room and lays out all the charts and figures and equations to explain how the universe works, but who never goes outside and looks up at the stars. I'm sure reading has benefited me in many specific, tangible ways, but more than anything else, reading makes me happy in a way that almost nothing else can, and in a way that is impossible to describe. Even if it didn't do all the other things, I think that would be enough. Thank you.